Wow.
This is Flick Flops. Welcome back to Flick Flops, the podcast where we dig into the best, the worst, and the ugly of cinema. This week, we tackle a Flick Flop alum sequel with Terrifier 2, the 2022 follow-up to Damien Leone's Terrifier from 2016. Easy for me to say. In this one, we continue to follow the sadistic ArttheClown on his tirade of terror and creative kills. But we're also introduced to a little bit of a plot when we meet Sienna Shaw, who appears to be destined to have a meeting with Art himself based on the drawings of her now deceased father, whose drawings have a sketchy subject matter. But that was a terrible mixture of words and a run-on sentence, but why stop the terrible there? Let's discuss Terrifier 2, Electric Boogaloser.
Wow. Terrifier 2. I was so excited about, as I am about a lot of the movies. This makes me happy. Let's get into some numbers real quick, Gary. We'll jump into this film because I know you're dying to talk.
I got a few things.
Yeah, I got notes. Terrifier 2, a 2022 release. Rotten Tomatoes has this sitting currently with the critics at 86, and the audience has it at 80.
Yeah.
Now that is interesting to me.
They're unified. They were not on the first one.
No, and again, it's a horror film, which usually they don't just. They just get shit on. Yeah. Anyway, this thing had a budget of $250,000 and made a box office $15.7 million. That made some money. Mm-hmm. Now, interesting enough, I don't ever remember these being released in the theaters. So,
yeah,
but I mean,
I don't either. But
I'll have to ask my daughter. Alex loves these films. And of course, written and directed by Damien Leone, which you mentioned. This is kind of his wheelhouse. We talked about him a little bit in the first review we did of Terrifier. This character he's created, ArttheClown. I mean, I'll admit I'm a fan. I love this character. It's a little twisted, but I'm a horror guy, so I enjoy this. And we talked before about Saw, and you had your thoughts on Saw and all that. And but I mean, I'm just saying I enjoy this. I look forward to these films. But that's all I got for numbers. We can dive into our ratings real quick and move on from there.
Let's go ahead. Let's jump into ratings.
So ratings on this one, Terrifier 2. Now, I enjoyed the first one. I do not remember what I gave it. I probably gave it a 2 or a 3 if I had to guess. I could probably look it up, but I'm not going to. I give this one 3. 3 poops. And there's a reason I didn't give it 2 or 1. And I'll say it very quickly. I just thought this one was a little too long. It rings in a little over 2 hours long, and it felt like there's dragging it out.
Yeah.
It just wasn't needed. I mean, look, none of this is needed. It's not like we're talking Dead Poets Society here or something like that. Yeah. What I'm saying is this just seemed like it just went on a little, like they held it a little too long on certain spots. And I was like, come on, man, you've got a good thing here. It's a niche, but you've got it. And you've got a really good control over it. Don't ruin it. Don't make it too long. And that's my only true complaint. Again, this is my wheelhouse. I enjoy these films. So I gave it 3. I would have given it 2 just because I know most people in my life would hate this movie. But I try to think of, would I recommend it? Yeah, I would. With caution.
So I went back on mine. I just now looked right before we started recording to find out what did I rate the first one. I was curious to see how that compared. And interestingly enough, I rated this one exactly where I thought I would in comparison to the first one. So for the first Terrifier, I gave it 4 TPs.
Yeah.
Andy, you had a prediction on what I was going to give this one.
I think you're at 4.5, possibly 5, because I know you don't think this is these films are great.
I landed on a 3.5.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Look at me not knowing you.
Yep. And I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
My complaint with the first movie was that it had no plot. It seemed like senseless violence. There was a very thin idea of what was there, of something going on. but most of it was just like, what's the next scene we can bring up and have something happen with?
Yeah, it's just gore.
It just seemed like that the whole time. And this one's really not much different, but they tried to put a plot in there.
Right.
And just the effort of a plot, I reduced it a half for that.
He bought himself a half a star.
That half a point, though, I gotta say the plot is terrible.
What?
We can jump into like different reasons and all that, but I just wanted to get my rating out of the way. 3.5 TPs for Terrifier 2.
Yeah, I mean, look, like I said, these films, and again, I think with most slasher, I'll put this in the slasher category because there are some horror films I think are well done. This is like you said, there's no great story here. I mean, we still don't know why ArttheClown is ArttheClown. You know, at least if we do, I don't know what it is. Maybe I missed something.
Yeah, I don't. But
okay, because like if you think of Halloween, which is I hold up on high. Halloween, Mike Myers. There's a little bit of background. You kind of know why Mike Myers is Mike Myers. Now you don't know why he can't be killed, but that's beyond the side of the point. We just don't have any reason for ArttheClown, and I would love to know just what makes the guy. Give me something to chew on.
Well, that brings up an interesting point because one of the complaints I have about these movies so far are that I don't know the rules.
Right.
There's no set of like, what is this guy? How do we stop this guy? Why is he doing what he's doing? Anything. There's no, like, at least in Halloween, there's a background. You may not know how to get rid of him, but there's a background.
Right.
There's no background. You don't know how to get rid of him. I mean, the one girl shoves like a pipe or something down through his head.
It's a rebar.
I don't, rebar. And I don't know what the rules are. And I think for me, I just need a little bit of like,
right,
just something.
I'll jump into your world with you, and I'll strap on my seatbelt and we'll go for a ride. But I just want to know what's going on, and that's the thing. My only complaint with this is I hope that he's somewhere. Maybe in Terrifier 3, there's some background. Maybe it's explained. I don't know, but I just want to know why. I'm curious. Like then I can buy into it a little more.
Well, it would help. It would help. At least I know a friend of mine and I were talking about this, and we were talking about the difference between to get off. I don't want to get off of it. I don't want. This isn't Tangent Station. Those guys do. Those guys do a really good job of going off subject, but I'm not.
Yeah, it's not our thing.
But the difference between senseless like violence and like some sort of, gosh, I just don't really want to get that too far into it, but there's a point with this character where it is just a lack of
substance.
It's just violence for violence. It's just
exactly
and delighting in the death of all these people that he's killing.
Yeah, and there's no rhyme or reason. We don't know why he's going after the people. We don't know why he does what he does. So again, referring back to Halloween, he's torturing these people because it's in this family, it's in this area. You can go with Freddy Krueger. I mean, he invades people's dreams. There's at least a little something there we can understand.
Dude, Black Christmas, which was a terrible movie,
oh,
at least had a reason for the. As ridiculous as all that was, at least there was a reason.
Yes.
And because there are some really interesting death scenes in this, some interesting things he pull. Most of it is so like ridiculous that's not possible. You know?
That brings up one of my notes.
There's a lot of that's not possible, or that's not how it would be.
Everything in this movie is not possible. The fact that he's alive is not possible.
Well, that too, yeah. But
if you saw the first one, there's no. But there was one particular death scene, and again, this one I thought this is where it started to get. I thought he was a little too long in this one.
Yeah.
I won't go into the details, but the if you remember the girl who wouldn't give him the trick or treat candy.
Right.
And he comes back.
Yeah.
So he's killing her, and all the stuff he's done to her, there's no way she would still be alive later in the scene. There's just no physical way she would still be alive.
Yeah. And that's got part of the scene I'm talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in your world. Yeah. I'm in your world, dude. You got me, but you have to hold just some bits of reality.
Yeah.
And the fact that, like, I mean, moments later, her mom shows up and she's still alive. I'm like, are you fuck? There's no physical way. Like, part of her head is missing.
This is one of those movies that Tara sat next to me and didn't watch. She was reading, but she would glance up and see part of it. And that scene came on, and she was like, she's like, why is she, like, she's still screaming? Really? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Like she'd be passed out by now, you know, some of the crazy stuff that happened.
So that's where I think Damien just goes a little too far. Like, dude, look, like you should have just ended that scene or moved on.
I mean,
and again,
I would say there's a lot of moments in this movie like that. I felt like the ending, if you take the third act, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, sure.
And take that whole ending.
Because it's a traditional Shakespearean.
Yeah. But you take that ending sequence, that easily could have been cut in half. It went way too long. I was like, get on with it already. Like, why is, we know what's supposed to happen because there's actually a lead up to what is going to happen. Why is it taking so long to get to that point? It's like we keep recycling the same. Oh, he's still alive. Oh, he's still alive. And
it's like he came up with we'll throw this scene in real quick. Like, no, just do another movie, dude.
Yeah.
You got people buying in. They're going to come see your movie. It's like a Family Guy joke. It just he holds a little too long.
You know, I don't know if you guys had any of that pie already, but that is some tasty stuff. That's from the bake sale that Lois was.
Ooh, one down. I know somebody who won't be having it.
I'm starting to feel funny.
Well, I feel fine. I guess I'm gonna.
Oh boy, that means I win. I get to eat.
Oh God! Why didn't anybody tell me? Oh my God! My insides are on fire! No, please, no more.
Dad, I'm scared.
Get the phone. Call 911. Lois, get in here. Okay. I think it's all gone. I don't want it. Peter, I need you to hold my ears.
Right. Yeah. The uncomfortable length. A couple of my notes I have on here is like, I was confused by when the movie is set. And I know it takes place right after the movie from before.
I know what you're talking about.
This has a vibe of like, and I don't know if it's like trying to make a throwback feel of the 80s, but it has an 80s feel, but yet with cell phones and they've got iPhones, neon lights, and they've got the flat screen TVs and all that stuff. So I'm confused by that. The kitchen.
Yeah, the kitchen
is like wood paneling and like old dated curtains.
The cookery, the cookware.
Yeah,
I was like,
everything is really
straight out of the Brady Bunch's house.
So I was totally confused by that, and I get it if it's like a throwback thing, but then why not own that time period? I mean, maybe that even makes it a little more exciting.
Remove the technology.
You know? I thought the dream sequence, while it was shot good and all that, there was no purpose for it. And I know that you want to talk about that scene.
Well,
interesting on its own is maybe a little tiny short film thing or something, but it just seemed extremely pointless to me. I know it comes back, but
it wasn't needed. It was not needed at all.
And it didn't 20 minutes long. It felt like it.
It didn't sew up any loose holes that were missing. But you brought up, there's a sequence, it's a dream sequence, and there's a song. That's basically the Clown Cafe.
We'll put a clip in here.
Yeah, hopefully Gary can find something he can put in there. If not, you can go look it up on YouTube. It's just called The Clown Cafe. There's no missing it. Look, I just thought the song was catchy and well done. I was like, you know what? This scene is unnecessary to the movie, but I dig this song.
Yeah,
and I'm humming along. I was like, I like this, and I made actually enough to write it down a note like Clown Cafe song. You know, but again, unnecessary. Now I will say this. The little girl over your right shoulder, that was creepy.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I don't know where this is going. But this is the stuff when I lay down to bed at night, I'm like, it's still kind of in there, still visiting me.
That was an interesting thing too, because that's a character that shows up that not everybody can see, but yet a couple people can, which was interesting too. Again, a lot of this stuff, it's almost like, if there was a reason for that, if there was a rule for that, or some sort of like purpose, it would make it a lot more interesting.
That's the thing with filmmakers. We will dance in your world. Just let us know what the parameters are.
Yeah.
I
Define
mean,
it.
because right now I'm out of bounds and I don't know I'm out of bounds. I mean, I just don't know where I'm going, and I'll go wherever you want me to go, but just give me
It's like you
something.
want to tether to something
Yeah, I
in a
just need
story,
something.
and he gives you nothing in this.
Yeah, and I'll give you that 100. So listen, I'll go with a critic that I pulled a review for, and I think it nails what you're trying to say. I'm going to butcher the name because it's the guy I believe is Spanish. So it's Ezekiel Boetti. Could be Italian for all I know. I could be wrong on the Spanish. From a website, otrocines.com. And man, I know I butchered that. Gary, if you can find it, put it at the bottom here. But his review, and I think he's spot on. Leone is fully aware of his previous success and wants to double up on it, but not everything works.
Yeah.
And I think that's spot on review, because he does double up on it and it delivers everything you expect, but not everything works in this version.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I enjoyed it fantastically. My daughter loved this movie. We had a nice little conversation, which is, again, odd. I have these very strange, dark, twisted conversations with my daughter.
Your daughter?
But
no, okay. Right.
Oh God, really? Yeah,
Halloween? Why is she?
I could see that in a heartbeat. Good call there.
One note that I did have, I'm going to skip some of the other notes I have because they're really not that important, and we kind of sort of glossed over some of it. I will say that I find ArttheClown is an iconic image. I think it's a great character.
Yes.
I feel like you had said in the first one, hey, this is a character that's going to be around for a while. And I totally agree with that. And I'm hoping that there's a course correct with the next movies so that we have a little bit more to kind of, as I was saying before, tether us to the world of ArttheClown. I'm curious about how he's coming. I just feel like right now, all of the coolness of the character has been mostly wasted. There are a couple scenes that I enjoyed. I will say there was one scene real quick in the Halloween shop. I actually laughed out loud during that scene, and I was not expecting to laugh in the movie.
Which part?
But when he's trying on the glasses in the background. And I've got a screenshot I'll throw up on the screen of
yes, I completely agree.
And I think there might have been another one later that made me laugh. Yeah, wasn't expecting to laugh. I was, most of the time I was expecting to be more like the first one, where the whole time I'm watching, I'm like, why? So there's half a point.
Yeah,
off.
Yeah, ArttheClown is a deviant character, man, and I'm okay with him. I mean, I saw one review that said the ArttheClown makes Pennywise look like a rank amateur, and I was like, yeah, it kind of does.
Unless we find out in like Terrifier 3 or 4 that he busts open, he's actually just an alien spider from another.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
But anyway, no, that's a knock on the ending.
Oh, that's a rant. That's a total tangent station rant right there. That's where Kevin and Willis come in.
Maybe we can just pass that off to them and ask them to do an episode.
Yeah. Somebody break this down and explain it to us. I remember you getting mad and you and I talking about that 30 years ago.
Yeah. Like what?
Longer.
So anyway, that's most of the notes. There's some acting in it that I thought was terrible.
Some?
Well, I mean, there was a standout. I thought the mom was just like
yeah.
Way over the top.
I oddly thought the little kid was pretty good. The boy. I thought the sister's friend was horrible.
The girl wasn't that bad.
She wasn't bad. Her friend was horrible.
The brother was pretty good.
Not great, but I was like, I dig this kid. He's a bit of a nerd. I get him.
Again, I mean, what's funny is I think I'm the one that suggested this movie, coming off the heels of the first one.
Yeah,
I figured that you would never guess that I would actually I actually wanted to see this because I kind of wanted to see if it would do what I was hoping it would do. And
I think you're fair.
It started going the direction I wanted to. It started adding some stuff to it. It just didn't land with me. But
I also think you're fair. You can critique a film, and if there's a sequel, you can be like, look, I'll give it another shot.
Yeah.
And see if he can deliver.
Yeah.
So I mean, I wasn't completely surprised. I was surprised it was this soon that you're like, yeah, let's do it and get it over with. I was like, oh, I figured this would be when I'd be like, Gary, come on, let's do Terrifier 2. You're like, I got another whole list of films that we should do first.
Yeah, really. Well,
get to,
it's early. It's early in the year, so pickings are slim. Not that this is a new movie, but
I mean, you haven't pulled out Cloak and Dagger yet.
Oh, dude, that is on my list. I've been wanting to see that again for a while anyway. But anyway, I digress. Let's go ahead and wrap this episode up.
Right.
Terrifier 2. I'm sure there's a lot of fans of this movie. I don't doubt that this has got an audience. And the Rotten Tomatoes scores show it. I mean, people like this. Just not quite what I want out of it. But I'll give the next one a chance too. I'm interested to see.
Oh hell yeah!
We'll see. It's no Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
It is not, and there's some things coming with Steamboat Willie too.
Yeah, I don't doubt that with him being released. Yeah.
Bring it on.
We're gonna see what happens there. Well, thanks everybody. Please like, comment, subscribe, and let us know in the comments there. What do you think about Terrifier 2? Did you see it yet? Do we sway you in any way? If you're like my wife, you won't even bother. If you're like Andy's, she wouldn't even give it a chance either, I'm sure.
This I get a lot of. Why don't you watch that when I'm not home?
Yeah, please. Yeah. Hey, all right. Nice. Oh, we're dancing. We're out of here. See you guys.
This has been a Touch of Madness production, brought to you by the creative minds at Tommy Twins Media.